So we can go and kick this thing off, man. Hey,
Let's get to it.
so welcome back to another episode of Keep It Thorough Thursday. This time on a Monday. I was um I was out of the
Man,
country
today's
last
Tuesday.
week. What did I say?
You said Monday.
See, all my days is messed
See how
up.
your day?
So,
That's the
hey,
Jamaica trip, dog. That
all my
Jamaica,
days is messed up.
that Jamaica trip got you tripping.
Yeah, so I was in Jamaica last week, came back late last week. So we decided to push out this episode until today, and then we'll drop another episode on Thursday. But y'all probably will see this episode and the Thursday episode at the same time if you're not catching it live though on the website and on YouTube. So with all that being said, welcome back to Keep It Thorough Thursday, episode 67. And on this episode, we're gonna be talking about finding new ways to break emotional habits, right? So without further ado, let's go and get right into it. So oh well, I guess we should introduce ourselves. We ain't do that, right? My mind's
It's
just in
the
a whole other
Jamaica
place.
trip,
So hey,
man.
it's
It
your boy
still
E
got
Double.
effects on you.
It's your
I
boy
ain't gonna
E
hold it
Double.
against you, dog. It's
You
all
said
good.
you said what?
I say I ain't gonna hold it against you, dog. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Your mind's still backed up. In Jamaica, when you saying take me
I'm
back,
still
please.
I'm still on the beach, man. I'm still on
It's
the
all
beach.
good.
But
You know
yeah,
what I'm
hey,
saying?
so it's your boy E Double.
Yeah. What's up, good people? Cedric Lavelle, and as usual, we appreciate everybody who tunes in to Keep It Thorough. We just give it a real behind business, health, money, and self development. Like E just said, topic of today: finding new ways to break emotional habits. I feel like this is something that everybody can learn from, no matter how emotionally sound that you believe that you may be. We definitely have some insight and some concepts that we're going to introduce through this episode that can be enlightening, and maybe help you elevate yourself, or even grow in an area where you may be struggling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like you said, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the
So yeah,
content, bro.
so experiencing the shift, out with the old, in with the new. So obviously, when we say out with the old, we're talking about getting rid of some of those negative emotional habits, right? And then in with the new, creating more effective, productive habits, right? So, with that being said, I guess what are like emotional, negative emotional habits? Said like what are they, and I guess like how can they, have a impact on you or play a role in your life?
Absolutely. So we all have habits that affect us in some capacity. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be positive or whether it be negative, right? And so with those habits, if they're promoting things that set us back opposed to push us forward, we find ourselves limited in our progress, right? And so, with those emotions, whether it be a habit that you have, in the way that you respond to criticism, or the way that you respond in situations where you're uncertain, or you're uncomfortable, or it may be a situation in the way that you respond when someone gives you when someone responds to you in a negative way, or in a way that you really doesn't feel is justified, whether that be with a spouse, or whether that be with a friend, or somebody that you may not know. In many situations that transpire because of the way that we may perceive something, or the way that we may think, or process information, our response can potentially be negative, or it can be harmful if we're not aware of the things that kind of trigger us, or if we're not fully aware of the environment or the surroundings that we're in, and how those things can negatively affect how we respond, and negatively reflect who we truly are, right? Because you can look at certain situations, and if it's unfamiliar to you and you've never dealt with it before, if you're faced with something, you may respond in that situation, and it may not be good for you. You know what I'm saying? Or you may go about doing something in a certain way where it causes a setback. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people go through that, whether it be, you know, things with drugs, alcohol, whether it be with um, honesty, or being truthful with someone. It could be an array of different things, right? And so I feel like it's important to have a sense of awareness, and really have a deep understanding of self, right? And being able to know yourself enough and continue to understand and know yourself to where you're not willingly putting yourself into situations that can be damaging, right? Or you're not knowingly doing things to where you know that the best response is not going to come from you. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that it requires a shift. It requires a shift in the way that you think, and it requires a shift in the way that you behave. So if we're wanting to avoid these negative thoughts or these negative behaviors, the patterns that we, you know what I'm saying, kind of go through, we have to change those things. You know what I'm saying? We have to make certain that it's, it's just like if wanted to work out, right? And you haven't worked out in a while, and you don't have anything set in place in order for you to be motivated to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying you want to do something, but you haven't changed your food, or you haven't changed up the company that you keep around you that cause you to kind of go into these setbacks. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really a matter of shifting how you think about certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I know I can't be around this group of people because I always end up doing this. Or I can't put myself in this type of situation because I know I end up falling off, and the goals that I have for myself, I can't achieve those things because I'm getting distracted by things that are over here in this area. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really about changing the patterns, um, recognizing the patterns, and then from there putting in the necessary actions in order to correct whatever it is that you're enduring or experiencing rather, and being able to move forward from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, cool. No, absolutely. I agree with all that. I ain't really got too much to add to that, to be
So
honest.
cool, man. So let's break it down. So three key things that you want to know when it comes to breaking negative emotional habits, right? And so, one, breaking negative emotional habits is a process that requires time and effort. It's important to be patient with yourself as you progress down a path of change, right? And so, we're all human. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not robots. We can't just all of a sudden make a significant change and think that we're going to be able to stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Like we really have to understand that everything is a process, and we have to go through that process, right? No matter how hard it is, no matter how challenging it is, embrace it, but understand that you're human. Understand that change is necessary, but in order to make changes in your life and in your environment, you have to go through the process, and just be patient with it and not try to move too fast, right? Because it's almost as if you get to a certain point, you know what I'm saying, and you skip steps, the foundation that you needed to build in order to be stable and have the right structure, it's not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't you weren't patient with the process, and you tried to speed it up, when every phase there's something that you can learn. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things that you can be more aware of that will allow you to excel as you grow. So be patient with the process. Don't try and move too fast. You know what I'm saying? Learn everything that you need to learn at every phase. That way, you can continue to build on your momentum and push yourself forward. You know what I'm saying? The next thing is breaking negative emotional habits will require you to become more self aware by developing an understanding of the emotions and triggers that contribute to negative habits. You can take steps to address them effectively, right? And so you can't address what you're not aware of. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order for you to address certain things that may be damaging to your progress or interfering with your path towards better, obviously you have to be aware of it, right? Like, you have to be aware of the things that are negatively impacting you, or the things that are the patterns that are negative, and be able to make the changes. But in order to make the changes, you have to be aware. And that just goes into self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? Doing a deep dive into who you are. You know what I'm saying? What shapes your character? What are your principles? What type of standards do you have for yourself, right? What type of expectations do you have for the people that are within your circle? You know what I'm saying? And all those things matter in the grand scheme of things, because I'll say this, like as I've gotten older, a lot of things in my life as an adult, I take serious. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're young and you're still developing certain things in your life, you probably don't take it serious. It's like, I gotta do what? Nah, I'm good. I gotta pay attention to what? Nah, that's cool. I don't want to do that. But as you get older, you have kids, you have a family, you got goals, you got aspirations, you have things that you want to achieve. A lot of things now you start to take more serious. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you start to really look at yourself and evaluate yourself. And it's like, okay, let me look at my friend circle. Like who's really making strides in their life? Like who's really doing something that I can be inspired by? Like who's really developing and growing, and that I can, really connect with, and we can move, what I'm saying, progress together, right? And you have to identify those things. Like you have to declutter your life in a sense, right? Like you got to get rid of the clutter, the things that are confrontational, the things that conflict with the person that you want to become. Because at the end of the day, in order for you to make those steps to become the person that you want to be, you have to be aware of your surroundings. And the only way to be aware of the things that surround you, that affect you, is being aware of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you internalize, everything that's a part of your mental makeup, you got to be aware of that. You know what I mean? And then the next thing is breaking negative emotional habits will require you to rewire how you process information. When changing how you receive and analyze certain thoughts, you can react more pleasantly and positively, right? And so understanding that when you receive information, the way that you process the information determines how you respond to the information, right? And if you know that certain things trigger you, or there are certain things that may upset you, or that's not aligned with your value system or your standards or your expectations for yourself, when you see those things and you recognize those things, you know how to respond accordingly if you're able to rewire how you think about them, right? Like in certain instances, you know, you may take information, just like I was saying earlier, you may take in information, and what you're taking in, the way that you analyze it, it may trigger something in, and it may piss you off, right? And you may respond in a way that's not very effective for that situation. You know what I'm saying? It could be a response that's damaging to you, or damaging to the person that you're dealing with, or the situation that you're dealing with, right? But if you take the time to do a deep dive of yourself, and you take in information, and you start to process things differently, now you start maybe asking yourself questions. Hold up. Was their intent to offend me or make me upset, or am I just tripping? You know what I'm saying? Or is this something that really needs my response and reaction and my energy, or can I just kind of like fall back and just, what I'm saying, move into a different direction, opposed to, lashing out, or being upset about something that really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And so reframing the way that you kind of structure yourself, rewiring your thought process, that also will help in breaking those negative emotional habits.
All right, cool. So moving on to the next segment, right, is recognizing resistance. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna list out like 5 ways to identify negative emotional habits, right? So and there's way more than just 5, right? But in doing research for this episode, we kind of try to pick things that kind of stand out to us, right? And that we think would resonate with our audience, right? So First on the list is self-awareness. Recognize patterns that may be harmful or unproductive. And said just mentioned this in the previous segment about being self-aware, right? Like breaking negative emotional habits will require you to be self-aware, right? And just diving a little bit deeper on that particular thing, like look at like what your plans are, right? First off, do you have a list of goals, right? And if the answer is no, then you should, right? Because if you don't have any goals, then you're not working towards anything, and if you're not working towards anything, that can cause you to be in a state of not having any purpose, right? Like make you feel like, like what am I doing? So it's important to like have a sense of purpose and create goals and have ambitions and be working towards things, right? But look at like how your day goes, right? Like if you're one of the types that says like, man, I never got enough time in the day, which I know a lot of people say that. I say that sometimes. Says that sometimes, but
I ain't never said that before, bro. That's not.
you
I
said
don't
that
do
before.
that. I
But
have.
but anyway,
Okay, never mind.
but anyway, be aware of what you're doing with that time, right? So
Absolutely.
okay, if you tell me you don't have enough time in a day, then I'm gonna ask you, okay, well, what does your planner look like? What does
Right.
your schedule look like? Like what is, you know what I mean? Like what are you spending most of your time doing? If you can't answer that question, then the reason you don't have time is because you have bad time management, right? But it's very important to self reflect, and if you're hearing the same type of critique from multiple people, then you may really want to listen to that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody's not wrong. Everybody's not out to get you. Everybody's, you know what I mean? Like, so it's important to recognize those patterns, identify them, and make changes to them, right? So that's one way, a way that you can identify negative emotional habits, right? With just better self-awareness.
Yeah.
Next on the list is emotional triggers, and said mentioned this as well about, basically something happened that is going to piss you off. I can't remember the exact context of what you said it, but identify situations or people that consistently provoke negative emotions, right? Like if you're every time you're around this person, y'all somehow end up to get into an argument. Like it always goes left. Like you
Yeah.
don't know what it is. It's just like you don't know if they don't like you or maybe you don't like them. Like whatever the case may be, it just always goes left. Identify those type of triggers and remove yourself from those type of situations. There's no reason for you to go into a situation knowing that it can go left.
Yeah.
There's just really no reason to even put yourself in that situation. Just avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, what weigh your options, the pros with the cons. Okay, best case scenario, I link up with this person and everything goes great, cool. Worst case scenario, I get into an argument with this person. I'm pissed off now, messes up my night, messed up my evening with whoever we were, hanging out with, whatever the case may be, right? But identify situations and people that consistently provoke negative emotions.
Mm.
And with that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's that other person's fault. It could be you that's causing that negative situation,
It
right?
could be you.
But at the same token, it could also be the other person. But just remove yourself from that situation. If it's you and you just don't like that person for whatever the case may be, just don't deal with that person. Remove yourself from the situation. If you think that person just don't like you and whatever, just don't hang out with them. And then the same with situations. Don't put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And what's an uncomfortable situation, right? Like putting yourself in situations where you don't feel prepared,
Yeah.
right? Like if you say you're going to do something, be a man or a woman of your word and fulfill those obligations, right? Versus showing up knowing you're not prepared to do whatever you agreed to do. You know what I mean? Like those are
Yeah.
also type of situations that can provoke a lot of emotions and nervousness and bad energy and all those type of things, right? So just be aware of whatever type of situations and people that provoke those negative emotions.
And real
Next
quick,
on the
bro.
list,
Look,
go
real
go ahead.
quick too. And this goes with self awareness and with the emotional triggers, right? Because you said something that I feel like a lot of people can potentially struggle with, and that's knowing it's you and not them. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times people aren't um aren't in a position of maturity in many aspects to where they say they can look at themselves and like, you know what? It ain't them, it's me. Like I'm
Like yeah, like I'm tripping. Like I'm
right
I'm
now,
I'm, I'm kind of
I'm
doing the
causing the
most.
problem or
Yeah.
I'm causing the issue, right? And it's like I said in the beginning, we're human, right? Like we're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna do things that may piss other people off and upset them. but we have to be mature enough in our actions and in our thinking to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main thing. Like we have to be accountable for what we do, what we say, and how we may make another person feel, and not always just believe in our own thoughts that it can't be me, it got to be them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
and
we,
that self-awareness is a form of accountability. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
absolutely, bro.
Very very important to take note of that. And then sometimes let's also don't get caught up in whose fault it is either. Sometimes, like
Right,
if you know it's just gonna go left and it always goes left, just avoid the situation. Just don't deal with it. Everything don't need to be answered. You
right.
know what I mean? Just if you're in better state of mind, better peace of mind, just stay away from it. Now, next on the list, this is a new word that I just learned recently. Okay,
Yeah,
uh, rumination. Right. So what ruminate means is to consistently dwell on negative thoughts and events that previously occurred, and you kind of like rerun it through your mind over and over and over again, right?
yeah,
Where kind of takes a toll on you. So it's important, and I think rumination kind of goes hand in hand with like self-awareness, where think about when you're by yourself, and the type of thoughts that you have, right? Like do you enjoy being by yourself, right? Like do you take it as a time to kind of decompress, to write things down, to reflect, and work on yourself and your goals? Or are you don't like being alone because you get lost in your thoughts, you
right,
worry, you think about things that have happened to you. You play it back over and over and over, and that puts you in a bad place. It affects your attitude, your mood, how you go about certain things. Maybe you don't do certain things because of certain triggers of some of those events that happened before.
yeah,
If you are one of those people, then I would recommend like seeking out some like professional help, right? Because that could be like a psychological type thing where you may need a professional to kind of help you and walk you through overcoming some of those challenges, right? And
right,
mental health issues are very real. I think we all deal with them in some form or fashion. Obviously, some of us are more affected by them than
right.
others,
Yeah, yeah.
but if you find yourself constantly dwelling on negative thoughts and events and replaying it, then I would uh, highly recommend seeking out some professional help. And that don't make you weak. That don't make you it actually makes you very strong to be able to identify issue that you have and work on it. Right.
Makes you self aware. Yeah,
Exactly. And then next on the list is emotional vocabulary, and I really really like this one. Right. So it's like reflect on the words you use when you describe your own emotions,
mm,
right? Do you think the words you use and accurately articulate how you feel, or are you overplaying those? Are the words you're using overplaying the actual situation and
yeah,
how you truly feel? Are you over exaggerating? Are you looking for sympathy? Are you downplaying, right? Which would be the opposite end of that. Are you downplaying some serious emotional things that you're going through, as opposed to upplaying them? But pay attention at the words you choose when you describe those emotions, because it says a lot to yourself about how you internalize it,
yeah.
right?
That's
And then
good,
ask
bro.
yourself, is that accurate, right? Well, no, I guess it really ain't that bad. Or yeah, maybe I am kind of downplaying it. Like, this really has me in like a bad place. You know what I'm saying? But that's very important. That's a very important aspect of self-awareness and self-reflection, and really kind of getting yourself out of the jam. If you know what's triggering you, or like, damn, I didn't realize this particular situation when I describe it to someone kind of, you know, gets me going like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that may be something you want to look more into and kind of, learn more about. And then next on the list is your coping mechanisms. So very important to identify how you deal with negative emotions, right? Like, do you smoke, drink, substance abuse, other drugs? Are you overeating? Does it lead to like procrastination? Um, and then you want to improve on those coping mechanisms, right? Because if it's a situation where you drink a lot and you go to the bottle, kind of instead of dealing with the issues at hand, now you're just making it 10 times worse, right? Because the situation already puts you in a place where you're not necessarily yourself, and then you're basically lighting the fire to that, right? Where people get, when you hear people say like, I was a person that I couldn't even recognize. You know what I mean? Because it's like you go through all of these negative things, and you're trying to avoid this issue over here by, drinking or smoking or whatever the hell you do, eating, staying away from things, not being productive, and then it's just making it 10 times worse now. And
Yeah.
that's just going to put you in an even deeper state of depression and having to even not want to deal with reality and constantly searching for that next thing to kind of distract you,
Yeah.
which can put you in a very bad place and bad situation. So very, very important to see how how you deal um with the negative emotions and how you deal with certain emotional conditions, right? And do your best to try to improve on those, right? Like like if you get pissed off, do you, instead of letting that person know, like, hey man, I didn't like that you did that, whatever, do you just ignore them and stay away from them? Do you just create this negative vibe with them where you kind of hold on to it, and every time you're around you create that situation that we was talking about
Right.
earlier where it's just always turned into something? You know what I mean? Like, it's important to um identify those things and change those things to be more productive, right? I
Absolutely.
feel like we always should operate from a place of positivity. You know what I mean? I think it's very important that we should look to try to prevent negative situations and conflict, right? Now, I understand in certain situations that's way easier said than done, right? But it's very important that I think we should operate from that understanding of trying to, prevent, that conflict
Yeah.
and unnecessary, those unnecessary emotions and chaos that, you know, it just have a very negative effect on us. I think we should operate from a space of wanting to be positive,
Yeah.
right? And being my favorite word, right? Gracious, leading with gratitude. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's very important. And again, I always have to say that doesn't mean, be all fake and just chipper and act like everything's all, what I mean, good all the time, but just trying to find the positive in things as opposed to dwelling on the
Dwelling on the
negative,
negative all the
right?
time. Yeah.
But so what's the impact, right? What's the impact of working to identify these negative emotional habits and improve on them, right? So negative emotional habits can limit your potential and prevent you from pursuing a passion, a goal, or an idea. To maximize the time you have in a day, it is critical to focus on the changes that can improve your path and the choices that can impact your progress, right? And being in a depressed, you know, emotional state, or letting others control your emotions, right? Like letting them trigger you, giving people your control over you, right? Is definitely gonna impede your progress. It's gonna set you back, right? Because now this person knows, say you at work or whatever, and they pop up and do so, they get you fired. They got
Right.
control over you. They can pull something out of you that they shouldn't be able to,
Yeah.
right? So it's very important to take back your control, right? Take back your control of your emotions and how you respond to things, and put yourself in a better situation to continuously improve and progress in life. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we constantly should be moving forward.
Forward.
You know what I mean, and
Absolutely.
not looking backwards.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next segment, making a change. So what are four habits to influence new outcomes, right? So we all can improve. None of us are perfect people. Said sometimes seem to think he is, but none of us are perfect people. You know what I'm saying? We all make mistakes. We all have areas of improvement,
At
and
least 7 days out the week. At least 7 days out the. I mean, 7 days out the month. I'm perfect. 7 days.
7 days out the month said
7 days out
perfect.
the
So
month.
the other, you know what I mean? What, it's typically 30 days or so in a month. So the other
Other
23 said
23
ain't
is
shit. You
is
know
a
what I'm
challenge.
saying?
You know what I'm saying? I want to take it back. You know what I'm saying? I ain't shit. It's just,
He
what I'm saying,
perfect
maybe a little
7 days
challenge
of
on the other
it.
20 on the other 23 days. You know what I'm saying? It may be hard for a brother. Nah, man. We, like you said, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, we ain't perfect. We are all work in progress. We're not perfect people. We're progressive people. You know what I'm saying? And
Hey,
so
hey,
that's
hey,
what it's
I
all
like
about.
that. We're not perfect people. We're progressing people. But yeah, so four habits, right? I'm gonna let Said knock out the first two. I'm gonna knock out the last two, and then Said to hit us with the final thought.
Let's get it. So, first habit that you can have, right? Mindfulness practice. So, practicing mindfulness can help you develop a greater sense of self awareness while reducing stress and negative emotions. This involves focusing on the present moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, right? And so this goes into it's almost a form of meditation, but it's really just being aware of your current state. You know what I'm saying? Where you are with your progress, with your life, and a lot of things go into mindfulness, right? It goes back to your word of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? And being thankful for the certain things that you do have, right? Being optimistic even in a moment of chaos and tragedy. You know what I'm saying? And obviously it can be challenging to be positive all the time when so much negative things are going on, or it can be challenging at times to really focus on the good when there's so many things that are bad that's within your environment. But if you're being mindful of just all the goodness that's around you, or all the opportunities that may be ahead of you, or the potential of making progress towards better, that gives you a more of an opportunity to see things change, right? Because I believe this: if you're a person that's looking to make progress in life, and if you have a strong desire from within to progress towards something better, every day you're going to look to put your best foot forward, no matter what's going on around you. You know what I'm saying? No matter how bad the situation may look, no matter what type of chaos you're dealing with, no matter what the conflict is, the none of that stuff is going to matter because you're focused on your progress towards better. There's a desire that's within you that's not going to allow you to give too much thought and attention to the things that don't promote positivity, or don't align with who you're wanting to become, right? And how you're wanting to improve your situation. So it's important to obviously recognize where you are in life without judging yourself, without making yourself feel bad. And it goes to everything that he spoke about on slide 2, right? And just, being aware and being willing to make the changes that you're experiencing, right? Your emotional vocabulary, you know what I'm saying? How you're describing a situation, and is it valid that you're saying these things, or really are you just overdoing it? You know what I'm saying? Or overthinking it. And then how you cope with certain things as well too. All those things matter when it comes to mindfulness, right? But what's important is not judging yourself and making yourself feel as if like you're a failure, or having a fixed mindset and believing that there is no room for change. Because again, if you have that strong desire from within to progress towards something better, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a growth mindset, and you're going to look for opportunities of optimism in order to become the best version of yourself. So mindfulness practice, another key habit. Well, one key habit. The next one is positive self-talk, right? So replacing negative self-talk with positive affirmations can boost your self-esteem and self-confidence. This involves intentionally choosing positive statements to repeat to oneself, such as I am capable and worthy of success, right? And I feel there's two things with this particular habit that are very useful and valuable. That's intentions and in the power of I am, right? And so with intentions, I feel like we're gonna have to do like a episode on the power of intentions, right? Because when you're really intentionally doing something, you're making a conscious decision to change, or do whatever it is that you're doing. You're purposeful, right? And so when it comes to positive self-talk, you're purposely changing whatever it is that's negative, or making you feel sad, depressed, hurt, shameful, no matter what synonym you want to, you know what I'm saying, correlate to that, but you're changing that, and you're replacing it with positive things, right?
Yeah.
You're using words that are very encouraging, that are empowering, that are beneficial to you, opposed to putting yourself down and digging yourself deeper into a hole where it's going to be even more challenging to get yourself out. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, don't cause more damage to yourself or don't defeat yourself. Give yourself an opportunity to see progress. Give yourself an opportunity to move your life in a different direction, opposed to damaging yourself by speaking negatively. And that goes into the I am. You know what I'm saying? And people use these types of affirmations very commonly. And if you don't, it may be beneficial for you to do so. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am worthy of success. I am worthy of happiness. I am this. I am that. I am powerful. I am bold. You know what I'm saying? It goes into speaking to your how you explain it, bro? Your conscious mind, and then with your subconscious. I ain't gonna get into
Oh
all
well,
that
yeah,
because I
well,
ain't
like
no
your
psychologist. You know what I'm
like
saying? But
your subconscious don't know no better, right?
yeah,
When you talk negatively about yourself, your subconscious believes that,
that's
right?
it.
And
That's the words you were saying.
it's gonna give you doubt. You know, it'll you'll have like that little nagging thing in the back of your mind. It's like, like making you doubt yourself and not
Absolutely.
have that confidence. So you should never speak negatively about
Yeah.
yourself, right? You should be very careful with the words you use, right? Like, instead of I can't, like, I can, by doing X, Y, and Z,
Right.
right?
There it
Like,
is.
so yeah, like, yeah, I don't currently know how to, build this house or whatever, you know what I mean? But if I do X, Y, and Z, I will be able to,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it's very, very important to be optimistic and to feed your subconscious
There it is.
positivity.
There it is. That's the way I'm looking for. I knew you could explain it better than I could in that aspect. But yeah, that's what it is, man. Like, and just like we've said like I said in the beginning, you got to retrain and reframe just your thought process. You know what I'm saying? And that goes into that aspect of just being aware. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we all want to live a life of fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all want to live a life of joy and peace and happiness and experience life in abundance. And we're all capable of doing that. You know what I'm saying? And it's available to us, but we have to put ourselves in a position mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, all those things in order to experience life in a capacity that we're most confident with and that we're comfortable with in order to see the changes that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like they say,
Yeah,
if
no,
you want to
hey,
change
and
the
and
situation, you got to
I
change
feel like
yourself.
with everything you just said, right? Like, when if you're like a religious person or spiritual as well, and like you hear people say, you have to put yourself in a position to be able to accept your blessings,
Absolutely.
right? Like, to be able to receive your blessings. And I feel like all of this relates to that, putting yourself in a positive mindset, motivating yourself, embracing others. And then, like, those opportunities come in abundance, you know what I mean? And they come in a bunch of different ways,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that they'll show themselves in a bunch of different ways, through a bunch of different people, through a bunch of different opportunities. And if you're moving in the right direction, you're already prepared, so you ain't got to get prepared, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? You already ready to receive, and to bear the fruits of those labors, the fruits of your labor, and to prosper. So I think all of this aligns with that. You know what
Absolutely,
I
bro.
mean? And then next on the list, of the four, right? The third one is acts of kindness. So performing acts of kindness towards others can boost positive emotions such as joy, gratitude, and contentment. This can involve anything from offering kind words to volunteering your time, to something meaningful, right? And this is something that I feel like, as I've gotten older, I've you know become more interested in, and see the importance of the impacts of this, right? And it's like, just giving back, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, us as humans, man, we got like so many things. We got have so many more things in common, and things that we
Don't
don't,
have.
you know what I
We
mean?
do.
And like, just be nice to people, man. Like, why, you know what I mean? There's no reason. It takes way more energy to be mad and pissed off and in a negative mood and negative energy and vibes, than it does to just be a good person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, give back. It's, especially like in our community, in the Black community, right? Like, over history, there's been a thing, like when certain individuals make it out, they don't look back and reach back. They look at people as competition. They feel like if they were also to succeed, it would like take away from them. And that's that crabs in the barrel mentality. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's getting way better. Platforms like Earn Your Leisure. I can't remember the other dude name. The stock market dude.
Wall Street Trapper.
Wall Street Trapper, Aristotle investments. Just a lot of people are out here sharing information, right, for the masses and trying to help everybody be better and put us in better position to win for financial literacy to help. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like this episode right here that we're talking about is more about your mental health and well being, right?
yeah,
And just be kind, man. Give it back. If you've been through a difficult or challenging situation, people can learn from that, man. And like people don't realize, like your words could literally like save somebody's life. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely, bro.
you could literally get a person out of a bind or a tough situation just because they see something in you or the way you explain the situation that helps them get through it. You know what I mean? So acts of kindness, man. Just be a good human, man. Just be a good person. Give back in whatever way you can. You don't if you don't got a ton of money, you don't got to give your money. Give some time.
Give
Give
it
give
time.
give
Yeah,
some knowledge.
yeah,
Give. You know what I mean. If you got some clothes you're just about to throw out, go donate them. Drop them off at Goodwill. You know what I mean. Like just do something positive. And continue that. And I promise you, it's gonna come back to you. Like I
absolutely, bro.
like tenfold. You know what I mean.
And it gives people hope, man. And that's big too. You know what I'm saying? Just to know that there's people out there that's willingly being good people. You know what I'm saying? People that's out there that's willingly wanting to offer up information, insight, ideas, support, all those things that can influence and give somebody some hope. Like
Yeah, and
that's
and I,
that's
and I
big.
and I just said all of that and just realized I didn't tie it back to the point of the episode, right? Which is breaking bad emotional habits, right? By doing those acts of kindness, right? It's going to naturally put you in a good place, right? It's going to make you feel good. It's going to fulfill you. You're going to have something to look forward to, right? I don't know no person walking this earth that does something out of the kindness of their heart for somebody and they're receptive to it and very appreciative, and it doesn't like light their heart up, like
Yeah,
make them feel good, put them in a positive space. You know what I mean? So that's how that ties back, right? Being kind to others, then others will also be kind to you and appreciate you and love your character. And that's very, very good. That's a very good habit. You know what I
yeah.
mean, for your emotional state and well being. So
And doing it with good intent as
well, yeah,
well
yeah,
too.
yeah.
You
Don't
know what I'm
don't don't
saying? Not
don't don't don't
not
don't
with
be
the
don't be
expectation
the
of something in return, but it's like I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. So your response to my giving, whether it's positive or negative, is not going to affect me because I'm doing this with pure motives and intention. I'm doing this because I feel I've been called to do this, or I'm doing this because I just want to bless you. You know what I'm saying? But if the response isn't what you expected it to be, it's not going to affect you at all because you know your intentions
well,
were
yeah,
good.
exactly.
You know what
Don't
I'm
don't
saying?
don't 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 be doing it just for the recognition, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to broadcast it or whatever to bring awareness or something like that, cool. But like don't be out here doing stuff for the response and you know what I mean. Do it out of the kindness of your heart, like said mentioned. And then the
Absolutely.
last one is physical exercise. So regular exercise can boost positive emotions and reduce negative emotions such as stress and anxiety. This can involve any type of physical activity such as walking, running, yoga, or weightlifting. Me and said are both athletes. Been athletes our whole lives. You know what I mean. We work out. I had a moment of time where I fell off big time and got back into it, and we can
Yeah,
speak
I
from
inspired my boy to get, you know what I'm saying, get back on the grind. You know,
said was one of multiple things that inspired me to get back into
I take full responsibility of that.
it.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Nah,
Anyway, we can personally speak to we can personally speak to a lot of the stuff that we just talked about, but to the benefits of physical exercise on your mental health and your
absolutely,
mindset
bro.
and just the mood that you're in, right? It puts me in a better place. I don't wake up with them little aches and crooking my neck and all that stuff. Or if I do and I go work out, it's gone. You know what I mean? Like, and just very, it's very apparent how physical exercise can not only benefit your physical body and all that, but also your health and
Mental,
your
yeah,
mental health. You know what I mean? So
absolutely, dog.
so physical exercise. I'm gonna let Sid hit us with the final thought, and we're gonna close this thing out.
Yes, sir. So feeling empowered to make healthy and helpful decisions can be created by embracing change. When able to identify the limiting influences that distract you from doing things differently, you can work to push past those negative thoughts and behaviors that don't allow you to experience joy, happiness, fulfillment, peace, or any other good feelings. Being empowered in your decision making can produce a life changing experience when you embrace the process of shifting to gain authority over your positive outcomes. You create a more fulfilling and satisfying life for yourself. Through dedication and willingness to embrace a shift in your life, you can break negative emotional habits and create the experiences you desire, right? And so there's an emphasis on the word shift, right? And with shifting, a lot of people may contextualize it and use it differently, but in this aspect, we're more so speaking about making the changes, right? Making the changes that are necessary, that are going to allow you to experience joy and happiness and achieve certain goals and progress towards better and take your family to the next level, take your business to the next level, take your health to the next level, like all of those things. In order to move towards those things, there's going to have to be a shift that you have to experience, right? If you perceive things to be negative, or certain things to be negative in your life, in order to experience the fullness of life, right, there's going to have to be some shifts in the way that you perceive those negative things, right? You're going to have to change your thoughts, your behaviors, and in order to move forward and not allow certain things to hold you back. And you said something earlier too, Ian. We'll end it off, but about allowing other people or other things to have power over you. I think you may have said the word authority or something like that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've always, what I'm saying, been conscious of that, right? Like whenever you're in a situation with somebody having a conversation, it's like I ain't gonna give you that much power to where I allow you to really take me out of character. You know what I'm saying? And it's a battle between yourself. But when you overcome those feelings, right, and you have authority over those emotions and you don't allow yourself to be affected, like it's so empowering to know, like, yeah, I'm not gonna allow what you're doing right now to throw my energy off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna allow the environment or the situation that I'm in to distract me from whatever it is that I desire. Like I really
And then also remove yourself from the situation. You know what I mean? Like the longer you sit in this situation, the more patience it's going to require, and discipline it's going to require. And everybody has a breaking point at one point or another. You know what I mean? So by just removing yourself from those type of situations, you limit the opportunity for you to hit that or reach that breaking point. You know what I mean? So be mindful of that, like said mentioned.
And
But
as they say, man, you may not be able to change the situation, but you can change the way that you respond to it. You know what I'm saying? So in a lot of aspects, the situation you may not be able to change. You always want to be conscious of controlling what you can control, and what you can control is how you respond to it. You know what I'm saying? What you can
yeah,
control is how you go about handling that situation. Like you can't speak for the other person or the situation in itself, but I could be accountable for my actions. You know what I'm saying? And how I respond and how I allow my emotions to change and affect me within this particular, setting. So you always just want to be aware of that as well too.
yeah, we've said it a million times, right? Like you should only be concerned or worry or care about the things that you have control over, right? And you have control over how you respond to things. So that's something that you should be worried about and pay attention to and improve upon. But hey,
Absolutely.
y'all, with all that being said, we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate everybody who tunes in, whether live or on the back end, on whatever platform. And we hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Um, I think it was very impactful, something that we all can deal with, something that we all can get better at. Be sure to check out the kit for this episode, as well as all the other ones on our website, as well as our merch on our website. And we'll be right back at y'all this Thursday with another episode. So be on the lookout for that. And without further ado,
Hey, make sure y'all subscribe too. Tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe to the
oh yeah,
page.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Make sure
You know what
you
I'm
like,
saying?
comment,
Like,
subscribe,
comment, share,
share,
subscribe, all that good stuff.
save. Whatever. You know what I mean? All that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all do that and tell
A,
a
B,
friend to tell
C,
a
D.
friend.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
But
of the above.
with all that said, man, if you don't do nothing else,
Yeah, yeah.
keep it thorough,
Keep it thorough.
and we'll holler at y'all next time. Deuces.
Till next time.